Hello, nature spirits are real. Episode 4, the Fauns. They live inside trees. That's why you can see it. And what you don't know that sometimes fauns are living even with their family. How all that is going on. That's what we are going to hear about right now with myself, Philip Gilbert. I am the author of The Great Enlightened Beings with my wife, Martin Isadora, of the Great Enlightened Book of the Light Beings, which will be published in October 5. And I am very glad to share with you who are the nature spirits. I've been living with them for quite a long time, and I know exactly what's going on. You know, the fauns are living in the trees. So when you approach a tree, you don't approach only the tree with its own aura and energy fields, and its heart also, because it's a living being. You approach also the fauns who are living in the trees, and they are very close together. You know, sometimes people just cut a tree and they don't think at all about the fauns. They don't think to tell them, okay, I will cut the tree in a few days and you will have to find somewhere else to live. And that's really a pity, because you can really feel after that, when you are doing that, feelings of sadness going on into the forest. That's really a bad moment that you have to go through. But happily, you know about the fauns. And now you know that fauns are living in trees. They are living sometimes inside, sometimes upstairs in the higher part of the tree. And what's funny, you know, sometimes when you are in master trees, or for example, in a big trees, you can have more than one faun and more than one faun and their families. So the main thing is how to contact them. First of all, I believe it's to open your heart and just to come close to the tree. And just then to be open to both the tree and the fauns, because they are living in harmony all together, so you can separate one from the other. And that's something which is really a very strong relation, because if you want to speak to a faun, he will never go very far from the tree. He can't go far from the tree. Well, you are in the natures, I'm speaking about that, because sometimes it can project, but it's really not so often. It can project itself to come by and see you and meet you. Maybe we'll do the experience all together. That would be a nice experience to have a faun coming by. But you have some things to know before. First of all, you have to respect them a lot, because they are inhabitants of the trees and they know everything about the tree. And that's very important for us. You will see, I will teach you some tips to heal the tree. Don't you know that the tree can be healed? Yeah, they can. Sometimes it can be their chakra, or will be, I don't know, to be clean. And sometimes they will have emotional wounds. I've seen that once. If you want to, I can tell you about a story which happened to me. It's Mauritius Island. That's not a very nice story. That's a sad story. I would say that's a nice one, because the end it's an enlightened one. Oh, I see that you're Antino. He subscribe. Wonderful. Thanks to you. And then I'm going to tell you about this story in Mauritius Island. There were a neighbor which has palm trees into his garden, and he was afraid that due to the tornado, the palm trees fall onto his house. So this neighbor wasn't somebody very kind about the tree, doesn't know that they were living beings. So it doesn't choose to cut the tree with a chainsaw, so that will be a death quite immediately. It just inject a poison into the tree, so it takes the trees maybe 6 months to die with lots of suffering. And then you know what? When he fall down, he found out on the houses of my friends who is living in Mauritius. She was quite a little bit angry towards his neighbor. And then what's happened? There is a master tree into this neighborhood. And then one day I was just walking there and I came by this wonderful master tree. And then I felt a lot of sadness when I arrived there. So I just checked like that with my hands to know where it was located and to know what was it all about, this sadness. And then I find a kind of emotional ball, circle, something like that, where everything was contained in it. And then I feel his sadness for his friend, the palm tree, which sufferance has really touched him a lot. And then at this time, I turn myself like that, and then I really see, as I see you, these palm tree entities, which was still there into the astral plans. And so I decided to send love to it. A lot of love to these palm tree entities. And then I've seen it. I've seen him going into the light. And I was happy because the Fauns who went into the master tree was very happy to see the whole trees just going into the light. And so, and then I just realized that the emotional wounds was healed onto the master tree. And so I began to discuss with all the Fauns who were in these trees. And so I heard about this story, how life was something very good for them because they were living nearby the sea, the lagoon in Mauritius Island. And what's wonderful there, it's very living places where there are so many birds and so many songs of birds every day, at every hour. That's really fantastic. So they really are living fantastic things. And what they taught me, that Fauns are living with their family, but they really are afraid. Somewhere they are not confident into the human beings. So usually you will never or very scarcely see them with their children. It drives me once or 2 times or twice, no more. But you can talk to the Faun and the female Faun, and you can see also that in the tree there is more than one family living in the tree sometimes when it's master trees. So now let's continue about just getting in contact with the tree himself and with the Fauns. How do you come by? How do you do that? I just arrive open-hearted, and then I communicate with the trees with all my whole divine parts. Just there like that, with either my belly open, with my first and second chakra really open also to communicate with all that is living. And then I can feel either the frequencies, the vibration of the trees. I can either feel in harmony the vibration of the Fauns family, and I can see them just going into the trees and just playing around and being really happy of this relation. And they communicate also with the other Fauns, with the other trees of their area. And what they tell me right now, that they are willing to share their own experience, because their own experience is profoundly related to the trees also. So if you want to, you can just close your eyes, just practice the heart shuffle, that love shuffle that we have been through already. Okay, I inhale all the love that I can, and just I exhale from my lungs. It goes through my diaphragm and then into my belly. And then I inhale again, going from my belly, these slow shuffles, and then it goes through my diaphragm, just come back into my lungs. And then I exhale again. I feel much more quiet. And my first chakra is open and is connected to the tree and the faun. And then I exhale from the trees energies and the faun energy through my first chakra, my belly, and my heart. And one last time, I exhale, go through my belly to my first chakra, to the earth, the goddess earth, and then to my subtle body, to my light body. I feel it with love, tenderness, and all the energies of the goddess earth. And then you can really open yourself to the Fauns, because they want to contact you. And so you have one of them just next to you. And the way you can do it, just either you can feel it with your hands and just connect. And each time your hands are going through him, because he's living in another plane, you can feel just your heart blossoming. And that's really a fantastic moment. And just let you feel his connection with his trees. For the faun that's just in front of me, that just is a connection with an oak, and I can see which one. Yeah, that's a master's reserve on my property on my land. And he showed me that there are more than one into this tree, and he thanks me for the care I am giving to all the nature into my land. And he showed me all the fauns who are living in my land. Oh, that's really fantastic moment. They all want to come by in some ways. Okay, I am very glad to meet you all. So I am asking them, do you know about any tree which will require me some attention, maybe some healing? Okay, I'm just checking like that. Oh, he told me no, it's all right. So he told me that I can put some nurture for the trees now, because because it's needed. And then I also could call some dwarf to initialize trace elements into the ground, so that they can feed with the energies of the trace elements. So I'm going to ask the dwarfs, the inner earth dwarf who are presented there. Okay, please come on. Would you like to work in harmony with the Fauns? And they are telling me that they need you to energize, to activate all the trace energy elements present into the earth right now. Can you do that? Yeah, just doing that right now, and I can feel my frequencies going higher. I can feel all the grounds like moving. That's really a very good moment. And then, if you want to, you can experience also, because we've seen the dwarfs, and we can ask to the elves to be present also. That would be a nice moment. Fauns, dwarfs, elves united together, because you begin to know them maybe much more. Maybe when you are walking to the nature, you're just asking them to come by and to accompany you for a while. That's a great experience also. So let's go for that. Yeah, that's really healing energies. I can feel the strength of the trees. to which the Fauns are linked. And I can feel also the subtle and very sparkling energies of the elves. And I can feel also those dwarves, just knowing exactly what the earth energies are. And I believe that's funny because that's the dwarves who are just guiding us. And they guide us to a real, earth vortexes. Yeah, if you want to profit from that, you can. They told me that it's really healing vortexes. And the elves want to do some magical things. They just want to put into the vortex crystal energies, if you want to. And the Fauns, what are they telling? Oh, they are telling me that they want Pan and Dana to be there also. Okay, so it's for you guys. Just have to welcome them all together. Pan and Dana are located mainly on the master trees of the forest, and they know everything which goes into their forest about the animal, the trees, the living stones, and also all the nature spirits, and sometimes the dragons who are living there. The dragons, yeah, we will talk about them later on. I promise. We have a lot to. Our journey is huge. We have a lot of light beings to go with. And so I propose to you as light beings to really be united with the elves, the Fauns, the living trees, and the dwarves just around you in this vortex. And the vortex are also light beings. You can feel it, his energies, just connecting yourself to the flow of life, to the divine flow of life, who is going through you. Yeah, that's a wonderful moment. I really feel all my chakras opening and then my kundalinis going on. It's really a pleasant moment to go through. And it gives a lot of anchorage with these three energies going on through me. Yeah, there is a lot of animation into this forest, a lot of movement. There are fairies, unicorn, really fantastic. I love that. Okay, and now I propose you to give a lot of love to all the living beings, that it'll be minerals, vegetables, nature spirit, unicorns, fairies, dragons, just around you, and this wonderful vortex going on there, who is the living beings. Okay, thank you to you, the Fauns. I am very glad. Let's go have a look to them. I am really very glad to have presented you to my friends, because they will know more about you, and they will be able during when they go into the nature, working them to be in contact with you. And so don't forget, if you have to cut a tree for any reason, you have to tell the tree maybe some day before. You have to tell the tree also to look into your heart, so you will give you the reason why you want to cut him. And also the Fauns, you have to add them to come by and to know. So they may be a little bit sad, but that's life, die, rebirth. That's a natural process. So you can just, for the Fauns, find out or view a place where they can go by and find new trees into that. For me, I've seen a piece of land which has been completely devastated. In 1 week, they have been cutting all the trees. It was a wow feel, I would say. There were so many sadness. All the spirit natures who were living there was sad, desperate. And so I just come by, I just send a lot of light there, and I just visualize place. It was my land, mainly, but I know some very nice place around my houses also. So for them to go there and to come by and to make a new life. And then what I've been doing also, that's with my own light and with the help of angels, archangels, and other light beings, we have been able to send enough light so that the entities of all those trees were still in the area where they have been cut down without nobody telling them before that they have been very surprised, and so that they can go by into the light, that they can just go up into the light. And that was finally a good moment, because that was a transformation for them, and they have to live new adventures. Even so, it was sad, but it showed me how we can really help them, and together they live a fantastic co-creation, because it's very good to talk with them, to communicate with them, to know they are here, to respect them, and to be all together in these worlds, because that's a prerequisite in some ways to have very nice trees, to have very nice atmosphere into the piece of land where you are living. So have a good day, have a good journey walking into the natures. I love you, and I'll see you soon. Don't forget, if you love this channel, don't hesitate, if it's not done already, to subscribe and to follow us, because there will be themes that you can imagine now. And the next live will be around develop your extrasensory perception. It will be episode 2. Remember, we have done 1, and episode 1, we have just seen a small part of what we can do. And into the next one, we will do things that you've maybe never done. So we'll be together. I'm waiting for you. See you soon. And just don't hesitate to share. And if you love this video, just to boost it, you can do that also. See you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you for you.